Chapter 13. The Pocket Money. Read the dialogue between a father and a son. Father: Son, did you get your report card? Son: Yes, Dad, I've got it. Father: You've got it? When? Why didn't you show it to me? Son: Yesterday. I forgot to show it to you. Father: You forgot? Son: Well, I was going to, but thought. Does this dialogue ring a bell at least in some of you? Well, it's a universal problem faced by all those who fare badly in their exams. How do they deal with it? Let's read the play and find out how Ernest's uncle solved the problem for him. But was it the right thing to do? Characters: Ernest Ryland Smith, a schoolboy of 14. Mr. Ryland Smith, his father, a self-important businessman. Uncle Tom. Mary, a servant. A boy, also named Smith. The sitting room of the Ryland Smith. It is just before 7 p.m. a few days before Christmas. Ernest is bending down over the radio, turning controls, and the set is making a terrible noise as his father enters. Father, for goodness sake, leave that thing alone and let's have some peace and quiet. Any letters for me? Ernest: I don't think so, Dad, but the evening post hasn't come in yet. Father, consulting his watch, late again. It's just the same as the rest of the public services. Nothing seems to be working properly. Mary tells me the telephone is out of order again. Ernest: It's the weather, I expect. Father: What do you mean? What's the weather got to do with it? Ernest: I thought perhaps the snow dash. Father: Well, don't think. It's probably due to carelessness or laziness, and goodness knows, I get enough of that at the office. Nobody seems to understand the meaning of the word work nowadays. Which reminds me, shouldn't you be doing your homework? Ernest: We've broken up, Dad. Father: What, already? Ernest: It's only 3 days to Christmas. Father: I should have thought Christmas Eve would have been soon enough. I shall be at the office till then. Ernest: Yes, but business is different. Father: So it seems. You'll discover that for yourself someday. Life isn't all pleasure when you've left school. Ernest: Nor while you're there. Father: Nonsense, my boy. Nonsense. Why, my school days were the happiest time of my life. Ernest: Uncle Tom doesn't say that. He says he had a rotten time. Father: Oh, does he? He's probably forgotten. Ernest: He hasn't forgotten the beatings he used to get. Father: I've no doubt he richly deserved them. If he'd done his lessons properly and behaved himself, he wouldn't have been punished. Everybody knows that. By the way, don't you usually bring home a report at the end of the term? Ernest: Yes, Dad. Father: Then where is it? Why haven't I seen it? Ernest: I was waiting till after supper to show it to you. Father: Whatever for? No time like the present, my boy. Out with it, and let's see what your masters say about you this time. If I remember rightly, you were pretty low in your form last summer. Ernest: But I was in the second 11 cricket team, and did a lot of swimming for the school. Father: Well, that was something in your favor. All the same, I don't pay a lot of money for you learn nothing but games. It's work that counts every time, and don't you forget it. Now, let's see the report, if you haven't lost it. Ernest: Oh, no, Dad. Here it is. Produces an envelope from inside coat pocket. Father: Not too clean. However, cuts envelope with pocket knife, takes out report, unfolds it, and begins to read aloud. Scripture making. Steady progress. CR who's CR. Ernest, Mr. Reed. He takes us for scripture and maths. Father, a queer combination. And yet I don't know. I suppose there's a certain amount of arithmetic in the Bible and prayer book. English. Composition shows originality. That might mean anything. Grammar good, careful work, reading good, writing, very fair. Spelling improving. Thank heaven for that. The letters you wrote me when I was abroad were full of mistakes. History promising. Geography good. Civics, what are they? Ernest, it's a new subject, Dad. The head takes us in that. Father, yes, but what's it all about? Ernest, oh, everyday news and politics and that sort of things. The old man sometimes calls it current affairs. Father, does he? It seems to me you can get all that from the newspaper. However, he says here you take an intelligent interest, so I suppose we must be thankful for small mercies. What's next? Oh, Latin. Not much use for it myself. Nor have you, it seems. Only fair, your report says. Ernest, but Father, no need to apologize. It's a dead language, anyhow. No commercial value whatever. Cut it out. Ernest, I can't till I'm in the 5th. Father, pity. You might be doing something more useful. Still, I recognize the school must provide for all tastes. What's this now? Ah, mathematics. I'm glad they put arithmetic first. Good heavens. You've actually got a highly satisfactory. I thought you were a fool at the subject. Ernest, surprised. So did I. It must be a mistake. I mean Father, well, your master ought to know. I can't imagine he'd give you praise for doing well if you hadn't. Ernest, no, but Father, your algebra and geometry are not so bad either. I'm beginning to think you've changed for the better. Ernest, what have they given me? For art and woodwork. Dad? They are my best subjects. Father, examining report. Oh, you think so, do you? Then you're going to be disappointed. It says here you're only fair in both. Not that it matters all that much. Any fool can draw and use a screwdriver. Ernest, but I'm the best in the form at drawing and I've done awfully well at woodwork this term. Father, well, here it is in black and white. You can't go beyond the marks. 40% in art, 39 in woodwork. Ernest, puzzled, it beats me. Father, why worry? It's the commercial subjects that count. As a matter of fact, I'm quite pleased with this report. It shows you're beginning to understand your duty. Here's half a crown for you. Don't spend it wastefully. Ernest, thank you, Dad. Takes coin just as the door opens to admit Uncle Tom. Uncle, good evening. I hope I'm not too early. Father, you're just in time to see Ernest's report. Sit down and take a look at that. I bet you never got one like it. Uncle, I wondered why you were throwing half-crowns about. Takes report, sits in armchair, puts on his spectacles, and looks quickly down the paper. Father, well, Uncle, you're right, by Jove. I never did. To Ernest, seems to me, young man, you've turned into a bookworm. What's happened to you? Ernest, uncomfortably, don't know, I'm sure, Uncle. Father, he's begun to realize the value of work, I hope. Looks at the watch. Look here, you must excuse us a few minutes, Thomas. I want Ernest to help me get some letters off, and the post goes at 7:15. Uncle, that's all right. Don't mind me. Father, help yourself to cigarettes. Points to box and table. Come on, my boy. We must hurry. Goes out followed by Ernest. Uncle takes a cigarette, lights it, and then examines report again, whistling from time to time in surprise. Enters Mary, showing in a schoolboy who wears glasses. He's about Ernest's age. Mary, I'm sorry, sir. I thought the master was here. Uncle, he's very buzzed just now. Mary, anything I can do? Mary, I don't know, sir. This young gentleman said he wanted to see Mr. Ryland Smith or Master Ernest. Uncle, all right, Mary. If I can't help him, I'll keep him company till your master returns. Mary, thank you, sir. She goes out. Boy, excuse me, but are you Dash? Uncle, I'm Ernest's uncle, if that's what you want to know. But sit down and tell me if I can be of any use. Boy, well, you see, it's about my school report. We think there's been some mistake. Uncle, dear me, how did that happen? Boy, sitting down and producing report, you see, it's like this. My name is Edward Roger Smith, and I'm in the same form as Ernest Ryland Smith, only I am plain Smith and he's hyphenated. Uncle, he's what? Boy, you know, he's got a dash between Ryland and Smith. Uncle, I see, go on. Boy, well, old Jonah, that's our form master, never troubles to put our full names on reports, only E.R.S., you see, so he's very likely mixed us up. I hope so, anyhow. Uncle, why is your report so very bad? Boy, it can't be mine, that's just what I'm saying. Uncle, well, the one that was sent to you, whoever it belonged to. Boy, bitly, it was bad enough for Dad to say he'd cut my pocket money for a month. Uncle, that's bad luck. Well, I shouldn't be surprised if you're right about yours getting mixed up with young Ernest's. Suppose you show me yours and take a look at his. They exchange reports. Boy, looking quickly at the paper given to him, this is mine. I'm sure of it. Uncle, what makes you think so? Boy, look. I've done pretty well in everything except art and woodwork, and those are the only subjects Ryland Smith is good at. Uncle, I shouldn't wonder if you're right. Looks at paper. Yes, I'm afraid you are right. Well, there's only one thing for it. We must change them over. Boy, do you mean I can keep this? Uncle, of course, it's clearly yours. Boy, pocketing report, thank you, sir. Pauses awkwardly. I'm sorry if Ryland Smith's going to be disappointed, but you don't know my father. Uncle, no, but I know Ernest's. However, I believe the boy suspects something already, and you can leave his father to me. Boy, relieved. Thank you, sir. Good night, sir. Uncle, good night, my boy. Your pocket money ought to be safe now. Boy, I hope so, sir. He goes out. Uncle takes up remaining report and examines it again. Then shaking his head, he folds it carefully into a pipe lighter, which he lays on the table. His cigarette now smoked through, he throws it on the fire and fills a pipe. He has just finished and puts the pipe in his mouth when Ernest enters with a pile of envelopes in his hand. Ernest, anything for the post, uncle? Uncle, no, thanks, my boy. I rarely write letters. He takes the report, pushes it in the fire, and starts lighting his pipe. Ernest, suddenly noticing what his uncle is doing, here, whatever are you doing? Uncle, pretending surprise, only saving matches. What's the matter? Ernest, but that's my report. Uncle, looking down at burning paper in his hand, heavens, so it is, or was. I must be getting absent-minded in my old age. Well, it's no good now, I'm afraid. Throws it on the fire. Ernest, you won't half get into trouble when Dad comes. Uncle, never mind. I'm always getting into hot water. After all, accidents will happen. Looking at the clock at the mantelpiece, I say, isn't it nearly post time? Ernest, help. I'd forgotten all about the post. I must rush. He hurries to the door. Uncle, by the way. Ernest, turning round. Yes, uncle? Uncle, I shouldn't be too long spending that half-crown, if I were you. Your father might want it back. Ernest, he hasn't got a curtain hope. He hurries out.